come into the ball game, replacing Kevin McHale, who has scored 16 for the Celtics. He and Dennis Johnson lead them in scoring.
Those minutes in the first half by the Celtic big guys, Bird and McHale, they need their offense. They have to have their legs if they're going to produce.
Michael Thompson makes good on the second try. And the Lakers offensive rebounding playing a big role now in their 11-point lead, the leading margin of this game.
The fast team of the Lakers right now in there, really being productive on the boards.
And Parrish lost the ball, and it was last touched by a Laker. And now you talked about how the Lakers look tired early. I think the Celtics look a bit tired now.
Yes, they do.
Dennis Johnson. And that's only the second field goal of this third period. Both by Dennis Johnson, who has 18.
Larry Bird has just been having all kinds of shooting problems, and they're doubling him on every opportunity.
Magic to Green. Parrish gets the rebound. Outlets to Day. And Darren Day, who's really had a fine shooting series. He was 8 for 13 coming into this game against LA.
Boston needs some easy hoops. That's why Darren Day is in there, perhaps on a hard push to get a layup just like he did. And not exactly a layup, but an uncontested shot.
Magic to Michael Thompson. And Parrish may have picked up his 5th foul. I believe he has.
Very big decision for Casey Jones.
Well, he's got to go to his bench, but Walton has gotten the call over Greg Kite today, Tommy. Are you surprised?
Yes, I am, because Kite was so successful in getting those quick feet back to stop the break. Walton, with the broken foot, has been not able to go full out. But Walton, a much more knowledgeable and experienced player. And they're opting for Walton's experience at this particular point to try and shut him down and block out and get some rebounds.
A 9-point Laker lead.
An old Celtic philosophy. If you're going to lose, lose with your best.
Walton tried to force it into Bird. Magic out of a crowd to Michael Thompson. The Lakers are making what they like to call a statement here in the third period.
They sure are, Dick, and they're getting their feet going. They're playing excellent defense.
They've outscored the Celtics 22-6. Ainge kept it alive for Bird. And Larry Bird now in double figures, 4 for 13 for Bird, and he shot 50% in only one game of this series.
They are really getting at him, and Worthy staying with him on the picks coming off the top. Cooper, when he had him, everybody in Bird's jersey.
And Kareem, with 4 fouls, has been spending virtually this entire third period on the bench. Worthy just came back a minute ago. Darren Day with the foul. That's the 4th team foul against the Celtics. One more there in the penalty.
Here it is, and Day has got his hand on Worthy, and Worthy just smacking it off, and all of us, wow, I'll tell you, that's been going on the whole series. To call one like that, that's ridiculous.
Worthy went around Darren Day as if he weren't there. 22 for James Worthy. And 2 minutes to go in the third period. And Dennis Johnson goes flying, and he'll go to the free throw line. And the Celtics have scored only 8 points in this period.
Dennis Johnson trying to take it strong to the hoop, and he takes a hard foul there by Worthy. So there's Worthy around Darren Day. Quick step, and just strong, powerful move against a much smaller player who ought to be able to deal with that quickness.
4th foul on Worthy. So Kareem and Worthy with 4. Parrish Nash on the bench with 5 for Boston.
You know, it's funny. Every time you go from one venue to the other, the hard fouls happen by the team who happens to be playing on their home turf.
Roberts coming in for Larry Bird, who goes out with 10 points. Depends on how you look at everything in basketball. You could say the Celtics came very close to winning all 3 games in Boston. And then you could say that the Lakers did a good job in winning 1 out of 3 by beating the Celtics in a low-scoring, tough, down-to-the-wire game to take 1.
Very difficult for the Celtics to catch up quickly against the Laker team. They just don't have that speed to go out there and press.
Pat Riley calls a timeout. 1:53 on the clock. And the Lakers are up by 9. When you hold the Lakers to 51 points at a half at 25 and 26, you're doing your job. But the Lakers came out strong in the 3rd period, and Tommy, I have to go back to that great hustle play by James Worthy that seemed to ignite them. Right now, let's go up to Pat O'Brien with the owner of what they call the Fabulous Forum. Pat?
And behind us is maybe the largest doctor's office in America, Dr. Jerry Buss. Did you ever realize when you bought this franchise that it come to this?
Well, we certainly hoped it would, Pat. I mean, from the very beginning, this is the kind of thing we wanted to do, but it's grown beyond my wildest expectation, and I'm just thrilled with it.
We've heard a lot about Showtime, Dr. Buss. Explain Showtime from your perspective.
Well, whenever you have a player like Magic that does all of those magic things and the speed of Worthy, and of course Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with a famous skyhook, I mean, it is a show, so we call it Showtime.
Was there a conscious effort to do that, to get the stars out, to have a coach that's dressed so like Pat Riley's dressed? The whole thing seems to mesh together.
Well, the whole idea was to get L.A. behind the team. And of course, as you know, one of the biggest industries we have out here is show business. So the answer is yes. We wanted the show people to come out to show that L.A. was in fact behind their team. There was a time when we didn't have a home court advantage. The whole idea was to establish one. We think we've done that.
As an owner, objectively, do you think this is a very healthy sport right now, the NBA?
I think it's on a roll like no other sport is. We're jumping by leaps and bounds, and I just hope it continues this way, Pat.
All right, thank you, Dr. Buss. Let's go back down to Dick.
All right, Pat. And like Boston Garden, they don't put up conference championship banners, just world championship banners, and the Lakers are looking to win their 4th in this decade.
Now, this is Boston's version of their press team: Walton, Roberts Day, and Danny Ainge.
Michael Thompson setting the screen. Magic Johnson nails one.
Big hoop. That was a statement basket by Magic.
He has 6 of his 12 points here in the 3rd period. And Kareem has spent all of it watching. Danny Ainge. Walton. And Walton, good job by Michael Thompson inside defensively. Bothered Walton's shot. Nearly a minute to go in the 3rd. Magic from the other side. Makes no difference.
The spotlight's on. The speed is out of the box for the Lakers, and it's going to be showtime, I think, in this 4th quarter.
13-point lead, their biggest, and there is a weird basket. And it's Walton who gets credit for it. The lead is 11. It was 13, and consider at halftime, Boston was up by 5.
Celtics got to get it down to about 6 points if possible within the next 4 minutes.
4 on 4. Dennis Johnson all in, hard off the glass. Darryl Garrettson will call a foul against the Lakers. Let's check. No, loose ball foul on Fred Roberts. Both teams in the penalty. 29 seconds remaining in the 3rd period. And Larry Bird, who has had his problems shooting, he has been their best defensive rebounder for the Celtics during the series. And right behind Casey Jones is Bird sitting, who has scored only 10 today. Johnson on the line, and there's Sam Vincent making his first appearance as Ainge goes out. Magic now 16 points, 14 assists.
The Celtics contained the speed of the Lakers for 3.5 games, and all of a sudden it popped up with this unit on the floor right now. Thompson as the center and AC Green as the power forward. That's where they've been most effective.
Vincent throws it away into the hands of Michael Thompson. Cooper couldn't save it, out of bounds with 2 seconds remaining. But the Lakers have come on big here. Magic intercepts, and an 18-point turnaround here in the third period. Maybe just what the doctor